Because why would you not take advantage of this? Why not? It's like saying, oh no, I'd rather sit in jail, thank you. When you could be sitting on the beach in the Bahamas. But it seems too good to be true. And we are so conditioned. All right, let's look at our parents. Let's just look at our parents. Now, most of our parents have told us many, many things. Many warped realities. At least I know mine have. So I'm guessing yours have too. And I know I'm not alone. But I grew up in a very poor family. Very poor family. We had no money. My mother was on welfare. She raised 3 kids by herself. Later on in life, she got remarried and had more children, but we had it tough. We had it really tough. Really, really tough. And so that financial consciousness was woven into the tapestry of who I was. Because that's what I was learning as I was growing. Money didn't grow on trees. We're not Rockefellers. You know, all of those things that we've all heard, you know. I know I'm not alone with this. But the reality is once I grew up and stepped away from that and started to examine the belief systems that I had, I realized that they weren't serving me. Money doesn't grow on trees? Yes, it does! Hello? They make paper out of trees. They make money out of paper. Doesn't anybody get the philosophy of that? We take what we learned from our parents, from our teachers, from our clergymen, from all of the people in our neighborhood, whether it's the lady upstairs or whatever, from when we're growing up, and we incorporate that into our brain, because as we're growing, we're like little sponges. Deborah never gave that up, but we're like little sponges, and we just suck in all that information all the time, all the time, all the time. And that's how we learn. That's how we learn. That's why parents have the hardest job on the planet, because their role is to teach children and to teach them how to become independent human beings while still living in the chaotic world that we live in. So it's hard. But we adopt these philosophies, and more often than not, they're very twisted. We don't think about what they are at all. Now, there's this wonderful little story that I heard, and I think it was Joel Osteen, actually, that shared this story for the first time that made me laugh my butt off. But I never forgot it, and I share it all the time. And there was this married couple, and the husband says to the wife, he says, you know, you make the best roast under the sun. It's fantastic. He says, but I notice that you always cut the ends off of it. Why? And she said, I don't know. I said, what do you mean you don't know? He said, well, that's what my mother always did. So, and she always made the best roast, so that's what I do. I cut the ends off the roast. So she calls her mother, because now she's all perplexed and saying, well, why does she cut the ends off the roast? And when she speaks to her mother on the telephone, the mother says, I don't know. I only did it that way because Grandma did it that way, and she always made the best roast, and she taught me how to make the roast. So now they're really perplexed over this whole thing, so they decide to call the grandmother. And they get Grandma on the phone and say, Gran, you know, you make the best roast out of everybody, and we've been doing it the same way, and it's working out great, but, you know, I'm really curious, why do you cut the ends off your roast? She said, because my pan was too small. So she had to cut the ends off to fit in the pan. But see, that's what we do. That's what we do. We don't question anything. It's amazing. I watched a program on TV the other night, well, a couple weeks ago, where it was some kind of, I don't know, some video clip or whatever, where they were watching how people react in different situations. So they sent this guy out in London, over by the main park over there or whatever, and he went out and he was just talking to people that were walking by. and asking them if they would be so kind as to do this for him or that for him. And, you know, they just like, he's crazy, and just keep walking, no thank you, no thank you. Well, they took that same man in that same set of circumstances, okay, and they put him in a uniform. They put him in a uniform and put a hat on his head. Sent the same exact guy with the same exact script out into the public. Every single person he talked to stopped and was willing to help him. Are we that gullible? He asked this woman if he could bite her corn on the cob, and she let him. Because he looked like a police officer. We don't stop and use logic. So I'm inviting you to use logic. Stop moving so fast, especially you. Stop moving so fast. Slow down. Think a little bit. What do you want out of life? How can you get it? What's going on? Okay? And allow the universe to speak to you. We're so busy doing and running and this and that that we don't quiet our minds long enough to hear anything. And the universe is speaking to you every day, all the time. There's this lovely book called The Alchemist. I love this book. Read it a couple times. It's a gift from Deborah. Thank you. And it's about a shepherd boy who decides that he's going to seek his own personal treasure. He's going to look for a treasure. And he goes on this very long journey. And I won't tell you about it because I'm hoping that you might want to take it out of the library and read it because it's really a great book. But it does talk about energy. And it doesn't specifically talk about the law of attraction per se, but it does talk about the universe and how the universe will speak to you all the time. And in this book, they say, you know, look for the omens. Okay? Once you put something out into the universe, you really have to pay attention. Even if you ask a question, the universe will answer you. God will answer you. Chester will answer you. Whatever. It will answer. You just gotta be open to hearing it, to seeing it, to receiving it. Most of us here are bad receivers. Most of us are very, very bad receivers. Why? Why? If somebody says, you know, let me buy you lunch. Oh, no, 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 no. Let me buy you lunch. Why not? I say, okay, thank you. We're bad receivers. We've been taught it's poor manners. Well, it's not poor manners if my friend Rachel wants to take me out for a drink. No, go ahead. It's not. It's being friendly. You know, if somebody gives you a postage stamp, I want you to take it and say thank you very much. If your child hands you a quarter, I want you to take it and say thank you very much, not say, no, 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 you put it in your piggy bank. No, the child is giving you. That's something that the child needs to do. They need to understand the duality of giving and receiving. We need to understand the duality of giving and receiving.
Sure.
Okay, so it's a wave, okay? Be open to the receiving end of it. And if you find that you can't, you need to take the time to ask yourself why. Ask yourself why. One of the things that is hidden deep down in most of us is that we feel that we don't deserve it. Why? Why don't you deserve to be rich? Why don't you deserve to be rich? Why not? If all these other people, we'll take Donald Trump for instance, We'll take Tony Robbins. We'll take, you know, who's the guy with Microsoft? Bill Gates, Oprah Winfrey, all of these people that got oodles and oodles and oodles of money. Why do they deserve it and you don't? What's the difference? You say, oh, because they can do something I can't? Because Bill Gates invented Microsoft? Because Donald Trump has tons of real estate things? Because Oprah Winfrey? What did she ever do? Oh, what's her TV show?
She's a giver.
She is now. She wasn't when she didn't have it. Oprah was very poor. What does Oprah do? Oprah does what we're doing right now. She sits and chats.
And she
And
owns
don't
her
get me
own
wrong.
studio.
Hmm?
She owns her own studio.
Now, she didn't.
She did. For a very long time.
But she started out just
Yeah.
doing general.
But for 25 years, she's owned her own studio.
Yes. She started out in news,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, as a journalist. She started out as a journalist. But the point that I'm making here is that we can all make excuses as to why they have it and we don't. But it all boils down to we don't think we can and we don't think we deserve it. And I'm telling you, yes you can and yes you do. We all deserve to be happy. I mean, if we go to, you know, all of the religious writings, we go back, let's go back to the Bible, okay? Now, I'm not a huge religious person at all, but if we look at this, all right, they say back then, may your barns be full, may your cup runneth over. Where did we go wrong? You know, all of these things say that we should all be abundant. And it doesn't matter whether you're looking at the Bible, the Quran, whatever. I don't care what you're looking at. Look at Wallace Waddles. Okay? Whatever. Okay? It all speaks the same language when you break it down. We all deserve it. The only thing that stops us is this right here. We get it, we stand in our own way. So if you can get the heck out of your own way, you can have anything you want. All right. So I'm rambling, I know. So what we're going to do is, speaking of Donald Trump, this is a great little story about the law of attraction. All right. Like I said, I tend to put it out there for whatever, whenever, and why not, okay? I was going to Trump Towers, all right? I was looking for the right outfit to wear. Didn't know what I was going to wear. And went shopping, and I was down at Woodbury Commons, and I found this. Okay? And I liked it. It was just bright and sunny and fun and spoke to me. Okay? Not the average thing you'd wear to Trump Tower, I would say. Most people look like they're going to IBM when they go into Trump Tower. But this was my thing. It was fun. Struck me. I enjoyed it. So now, sitting down at Woodbury Commons with my fun little sweater and Deborah, sitting on this bench. I'm saying, now I've got to find shoes. What am I going to wear with that? What shoes do you wear with that? Okay? Because I had a nice pair of winter white slacks that I was going to wear with it. So, but I needed shoes. All of a sudden, we're sitting on this bench, and this gentleman walks up to us. And he says, is there a Macy's here? I said, no. It's Woodbury Commons. There's no Macy's here. So I looked at Deborah, I said, I think we need to go to Macy's. I mean, there were tons of shoe stores at Woodbury Commons that we could have perused. But my little messenger came to tell me about Macy's. So off to Macy's we go. Didn't even look in the other stores. Because I've lived this too long to know. So now we're in Macy's and we're perusing. I brought the shoes. You bet your butt I brought the shoes. The story would be incomplete without the shoes.
Wait to see the shoes.
So I'm standing there, and we see these like green strappy sandals, and I'm thinking, okay, that might work. That might look nice with that. And all of a sudden, this lady, this odd woman out of nowhere, comes over to me. Now, she doesn't even know about the sweater, because we left the sweater in the car. Left the sweater in the car. Does not exist in Macy's. This woman doesn't know us. She wasn't even near us to hear any kind of conversation we were having. She just like came out of the woodwork, coming up to me. And she said, "Did you see those shoes over there?" And I look at Deborah, I'm like, isn't that odd? Isn't that odd? Well, I go around the bend, and these are the shoes I find. Bizarre.
They're cute.
And they cute.
Yeah.
And they look great with the slacks.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you couldn't get a better one.
Perfect.
Okay? So this is what the law of attraction will do for you. You've got to pay attention. You've got to pay attention. All right? That was just a fun one. But the best part of the story, the very best part of the story for me, you know, because I knew these kinds of things happened all the time. But then when I went to Trump Towers, I look over the railing, and I see Donald Trump stand there. And the man looks right up at me. Now here I am in my snazzy orange, and there he stands with his bright orange tie. The same exact color. Him and I were wearing the same exact colors. Meanwhile, the rest of the people that were there were in their navy blue and black suits.
He went with his pink hair, right?
Yeah. So, but once you put it out there, expect miracles. You don't know what's going to happen. Expect the unexpected. Absolutely expect the unexpected. You know, 15 years ago, I did a lot of lecturing all over the place. And I remember doing a lecture, not on this type of thing. I was just talking about kinesiology and alternative medicine and all that kind of stuff. And I was doing a lecture at Barnes & Noble on Route 346 in Clifton, New Jersey. There's probably about 50 people there. And we're talking about energy, and we're talking about energy. And this woman says to me, "Well, did you write a book?" Because now here I am, like promoting everybody else's book. And I'm saying to myself, if I said no, which was the truth, it would shut down that energy pattern. So I said, not yet. I had no intentions of writing a book. None. Well, here we are, 15 years later, and here's the book. I didn't know what I was going to write a book about, but you don't want to shut the channels down. When I was a little girl, I lived in Spain. I moved to America, I couldn't speak English. I was ridiculed, made fun of. It was horrific. And I swore that when I learned how to speak English, I would never speak Spanish again. To this day, I still don't speak Spanish. I've tried. I've even bought programs, which is sick, considering I went to school in Spain for 2 years and couldn't speak a word of English. I can't speak Spanish. I mean, I can get by. I can, play the charades game and stuff. I speak Spanglish. My mother speaks 5 languages. I should be able to speak 2, especially since I already knew it. But by saying that, even as a little child, I will never, with such intensity, do that again. It actually shut down that area of my being that even today, at my age, I still have not been able to break through. So understand how powerful this is. What you project is very powerful. You've got to create the emotion of knowing that you can do these things. You've got to be positive in what you project out into the world. Now, when you want something specific, and I'm going to try and make this quick because I know it's getting late, right? It is getting late. All right. So say you want a new car. All right. Now, as I started saying earlier, and you didn't reel me back in, but a couple years ago I had done this exercise, and I said that I wanted a new Cadillac Escalade. Okay? My Escalade is sitting right here in the driveway for all of you to see. Okay? So you can have whatever you want. Like I said, this is the third or fourth car that I've gotten this way. I will use a car as an example. This is not my car, because I love my car, so I'm happy. Okay, but we'll use a car just so that you understand how to use your little notebook. Okay? My divine car. Okay? Basically, the divine, what does that mean? It's your will, God's will, universe's will, combined. Okay, so you're putting it out there, this is what you want, and the universe is saying, okay, this is what I want too. So when you want something, I always use my divine whatever. Okay, you want my divine house, my divine mate, my divine job, my divine whatever. I don't care. My divine coffee table, whatever it is. Coffee pot, doesn't matter. Okay, then you're going to start listing things. And what I want you to do on your paper is skip a line in between each one. And the purpose for this is because you will get everything that's on your list. It may not come in one complete package. But leaving that line in between says, I want all of these things, but it doesn't have to come complete immediately. Okay? So, one of the first things I would advise any of you to do, everything is written in present tense. Like I said, you don't say, I want this, or I need this. You already have it. You create that void for the universe to fill. Okay? Very, very important. So, my new car, first and foremost, is affordable. Because you don't want to get a car that you can't afford, right? So either you're going to get it really, really cheap, or you're going to get a great job so that you can pay for it. One or the other. Okay, but that leaves it open. Okay? My new car is new or like new. And the reason I say that is because you might find a Mercedes S350 that you want, okay, that somebody bought, stuck it in their garage for 2 years, never drove it, and decided they didn't want it anymore. Okay, and then suddenly it's at the lot, it's got 10,000 miles on it or 5,000 miles on it, and it's half the price. Right? So is it going to matter to you if it's got 5,000 miles on it, if you're paying a fraction of the price for it? Probably not. Probably not. But if it's got to be new, then get rid of the light new. Okay? But understand that you can't dictate how these things are going to come to you. Alright? And you just go down the line. Okay? My new car has a Bose sound system. And this is why I'm saying to skip a line, because your new car might not have the Bose system in it, but you might get it a couple months later, all right, as a gift for Christmas or something. You never know, all right. It's got leather seats, whatever, all the things that you want, okay. It's got delayed windshield wipers, I don't know. It's got whatever, a navigation system. It's got windshield wipers on the headlights. Whatever it is that you think you want. Okay? You can go as far as to say, which I didn't do here, my new car is a Mercedes S350. Make sure you specify what kind of car you want. Because otherwise you'll be bombarded with cars all over the place. Okay? Let the universe know what color you want. It's white. It's a convertible. And you just go down the line. Okay? And list every single thing that you want in it. Then, at the end, did we get that gentleman's email address that was here? Good, because I want to send him this information, because see, I didn't stick to what I said before. You ladies let me get out of control. I said I was going to put the important stuff first. And now, Cheryl I know I can get the information to, but I didn't know who that guy was. So I want to make sure that he gets this information, because it's like the key to everything. So after you're done with your list, at the end, when you're really, really, really done, you're going to say, the new car, boat, house, boyfriend, job, whatever, that I am seeking is seeking me and the law of attraction brings us together in perfect harmony. Okay? Now, I do this second to last. That's my personal preference. And I'll tell you what I put on it. You can do what you like. Okay? Now, aside from my little shoe episode, I've gotten a boat, I've gotten an excavator, I've gotten a hot tub, I got a leaf blower, I got a dune buggy, So, the sky's the limit. The universe doesn't care what it is, only you do. And the universe likes speed, okay? So now, let me just say this. If you're going for a job, and I think you and I talked about this the other day, Missy. If you're going for a job, try to make it realistic, okay? If you put down that you want to be the CEO of a company, that's a great goal, and that's fine. And you will eventually get there. But it's not going to happen by twitching your nose if you're working in the mailroom. Okay, you can't go from here to here without having steps in between. Okay? Understand that. The universe will set it up so that you can learn and grow into that position. Because once you put it out there, you will get there. Unless you change your mind about it. You will absolutely get there. But you've got to take action. Okay? When you put something out there, it's either going to come to you at your doorstep. Okay? I mean, I came home one day and there was a $380 coffee pot sitting on my front step. Brand new in the box. This little Italian cube, it was called. The cube. It's like, what the heck is this? My uncle dropped it off. He said, I thought you'd like it. So things are going to just come to you. Okay? Now, Rachel left. She called me this morning. She's just been learning about the law of attraction. And she told me that she wanted to get a new dinette set in her kitchen. She wants to replace her whole kitchen. Okay? She lives in an old farmhouse and they really want to redo the kitchen, but not ready to spend 20 grand on doing this. Okay? So, her and her husband, now her husband's starting to see things work. You know, because he was negative Ned, you know, as most men are, until they start to see you getting stuff. And then suddenly it turns around. But her husband's real excited because now he's getting it all into it. And so now you've got two energies in that household that are focused on the same thing, which is great. Okay, so she decides she's going to look on Craigslist. And she finds a dinette that she's delighted about for $100. She's really, really, really happy. So she agrees to buy this thing. She sends her husband over to pick it up. Well, he gets into conversation with the lady who's selling it. And she says, well, the only reason why I love this thing, the only reason why I'm selling it is because we're redoing our kitchen. And it's not going to go with what we're putting in here. And he said, really? You're getting rid of all these great cabinets? And she said, sure, would you like them? And he said, okay. Well, as it turns out, the kitchen cabinets fit perfectly for what they need. The counter fits. They got the sink, the faucet, the counter, the cabinets, everything for their new kitchen for free. Do not think because you don't know how it's going to happen that it's not going to happen. You don't need to know how it's going to happen. That's not your job. Your job is to put it out there and let the universe take care of the rest.